On August 23, 2021, a single mother dropped her teenage daughter at school, went shopping at Checkers, and drove home to her quiet Johannesburg neighborhood. Within minutes, she would be dead, gunned down in broad daylight in her own driveway. But this wasn't a random robbery. This was a calculated execution, a message written in bullets. Her name was Babita Deokaran, and she knew too much. The killers didn't hide. 6 professional assassins, multiple gunshots, her car riddled with bullets, windows shattered, the driver's door painted with evidence of cold-blooded murder. They wanted everyone to see. They wanted every whistleblower in South Africa to understand what happens when you stand against corruption. 4 years later, the hitmen are behind bars. But the person who ordered her death? They're still out there, living in luxury, protected by power, untouchable. In this edition of Truth in the Soil, we uncover the dark web of corruption that cost Babita Deokaran her life. We'll reveal the powerful people she threatened and why, despite overwhelming evidence, the mastermind behind her assassination may never see the inside of a courtroom. This isn't just a murder mystery. This is a story about what happens when whistleblowers stand alone against the shadow state. And by the end, you'll understand why her family still fights for justice, and why the answer to who ordered the hit might be hiding in plain sight. Real quick before we continue, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We uncover stories like this in Truth in the Soil so you don't miss the next one. Now let's dig in. To understand Babita Deokaran killed, we have to understand who she was and what she had access to. Babita Deokaran wasn't born to be a hero. She was born to be ordinary, and that's what made her extraordinary. For 3 decades, she climbed the ranks of South Africa's public health system, starting as a simple accounting clerk and working her way to acting chief financial officer of the Gauteng Department of Health. She was 53 years old, a devoted single mother, and someone who spent much of her time alone in her kitchen, doing what she loved most, crunching numbers and ensuring public money reached the people who needed it. Her brother-in-law, Tony Hariprasad, remembered her as full of life, the glue that held the family together. Her role as chief director of financial accounting meant she controlled the paper trail, and when she discovered what was happening at Tembisa Hospital, she couldn't look away. In the weeks leading up to her assassination, Babita Deokaran uncovered something massive. She began noticing irregular spending patterns at Tembisa Hospital, a flood of suspicious transactions that made no sense. In July 2021 alone, the hospital spent 239 million rand on goods and services, 25% more than Charlotte Maxeke Academic Hospital, which is 4 times its size. She dug deeper. What she found was staggering. Babita flagged 850 million rand in potentially fraudulent payments to hundreds of shell companies. The procurement system had been hijacked. Fake bidding processes, inflated prices, fronting companies. A sophisticated criminal network was bleeding the hospital and the people of Gauteng dry. 3 weeks before her murder, she compiled a detailed report. She sent it to her boss, CFO Lerato Madio, and called for an immediate investigation. She wanted to halt 104 million rand in payments. She knew stopping the money would expose the syndicate. And then she sent a chilling message. I am just worried that the guys in Tembisa are going to realize we are not releasing their payments and know that we are on to something. Our lives could be in danger. Her boss replied, Morning, Babita. I have requested the HOD's grant approval for the investigation. It was a lie. No investigation was ever launched. Instead, Babita was placed on special leave. She was given no protection, no bodyguards, no safe house, nothing. She was left exposed, a sitting target. For weeks, she was being watched. A suspicious BMW was seen repeatedly near her home. Her assassins were already planning. The state knew she was in danger. They did nothing. 12 days after her warning, professional killers were stalking her every move. Monday morning, August 23, 2021. 8 a.m. Babita Deokaran followed her usual routine. She drove her teenage daughter to school, stopped at Checkers for groceries, then headed home to her house in Winchester Hills, Mondeor, south of Johannesburg. When she pulled into her driveway, a vehicle was waiting. It pulled alongside her car. 6 armed men opened fire. 9 bullets tore through her vehicle. The windows exploded. The driver's door was shredded. Babita was shot multiple times. She was still alive when neighbors rushed to help, but she would die later in the hospital. The assassination was theatrical, deliberate, public. It happened in broad daylight on a Monday morning, a spectacle designed to send a message. This is what happens to whistleblowers. The killers fled, but they had already made a mistake. A neighbor had noticed that BMW, the same one seen lurking around the area for weeks, the vehicle was traced to a former member of the South African National Defence Force living in Pretoria. A passenger in Babita's car during the murder provided crucial evidence. 4 days later, police arrested 6 suspects, all hailing from KwaZulu-Natal, a province notorious for supplying contract killers. The Sunday Times later confirmed that Babita had been stalked for more than a month before her death. The hitmen were caught. But who hired them? The 6 men arrested were all South African citizens, all professional hitmen. Media reports revealed they were allegedly paid 2 million rand for the hit. In August 2023, on the eve of the 2nd anniversary of Babita's murder, they were sentenced in Johannesburg High Court. The combined sentence, 95 years imprisonment. 2 received 22 years, 3 got 15 years, 1 received just 6 years for murder. But here's the problem. The 6 hitmen confessed to killing Babita Deokaran. They did not reveal who hired them. The 6 men also implicated 3 more individuals. One of them, Kanyisani Mpungose, was killed in Germiston just 4 months after Babita's assassination. In September 2025, over 4 years after Babita's murder, the Special Investigating Unit, SIU, released a bombshell interim report. The scale of looting at Tembisa Hospital was even worse than Babita had uncovered. Not 850 million rand, not 1 billion rand. Over 2 billion rand was ruthlessly siphoned through 3 major criminal syndicates. Despite all this evidence, despite knowing who benefited, despite seizing assets worth hundreds of millions, not a single mastermind has been arrested for ordering Babita Deokaran's murder. But Babita's family has heard nothing. Her brother Rakesh said, "We have heard nothing from them. Not once have they called us. The last time we were contacted by the investigating team was right after the incident." So let's ask the questions no one wants to answer. Why did Lerato Madio, Babita's boss, lie about escalating her report? She told Babita she'd passed the corruption findings to higher officials. She hadn't. The report was only mentioned to her superiors on the day of Babita's assassination, and only in passing when Babita expressed fear for her life. Why did she protect the syndicate instead of her colleague? Why was Babita given no protection despite warning she was in danger? In South Africa, corrupt politicians receive generous security details. Babita, the whistleblower exposing them, was left defenseless. Was this negligence or something darker? Babita Deokaran's family continues to fight. They've joined forces with civil society organizations like the Ahmed Kathrada Foundation, Defend Our Democracy, and the Active Citizens Movement. They're demanding whistleblower protection laws, demanding accountability, demanding justice. In December 2021, Blueprint for Free Speech gave Babita a posthumous international award for her courage. In August 2022, journalist Jeff Wicks published a book titled The Shadow State: Why Babita Deokaran Had to Die, documenting the corruption network she exposed. Her story has become a symbol of the dangers whistleblowers face, of state failure to protect them, of justice delayed and denied. Trade union leader Zwelinzima Vavi put it plainly. The person who paid the criminals was identified by the police and was eliminated, and therefore he will not reveal where the money came from. Health Minister Aaron Motsoaledi said her killing makes him understand why countries like China impose capital punishment for corruption. The Democratic Alliance's Glynis Breitenbach called the investigation a failure. Babita Deokaran died to expose the looting at Tembisa, and 4 years later we still don't know who gave the order for her assassination. The SAPs can't or won't find the masterminds. And that's the truth, isn't it? They can't, or they won't. Babita Deokaran's brother said it best. All we want is for the mastermind to be brought to book. If you look at the media, it will show you there was a trial. All you have to do is chase the money. So here's my question for you. If the money leads straight to the masterminds, why are they still free? Is it incompetence? Is it fear? Or is it something more sinister? Leave your thoughts in the comments. Do you think the mastermind will ever be arrested? Or is this another case where justice dies in the shadow state? And if you know someone who works in government, who sees corruption, who's thinking about blowing the whistle, share this story with them. Let them know what happened to Babita Deokaran. Because the next whistleblower needs to know, when you stand alone against the powerful, the state won't protect you. Babita knew that, and she stood anyway. If you made it this far, you care about the truth. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And drop a comment. Will they ever arrest the mastermind? Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.